In the high-stakes world of NBA trades, Zach LaVine's future hangs in the balance. Will the Bulls star guard find a new home, or is his massive contract an immovable object? Buckle up as we dive into the perfect storm of deadlines, desperation, and dollars that could make or break the biggest trade of the season. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. Today, we're diving deep into the world of NBA trades, where two crucial D words are making waves, deadlines, and desperation. These factors could be the key to unlocking one of the most intriguing trade sagas in recent memory, the potential departure of Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls. The current situation. Let's set the stage. Zach LaVine, the two-time All-Star and longtime resident on the trade rumor mill, recently made an appearance at Bulls Media Day. Now, LaVine said all the right things, flashing that million-dollar smile and reassuring fans of his commitment to the team. But let's be real, folks' actions speak louder than words in the NBA, and LaVine's name continues to pop up in trade discussions like clockwork. Despite the PR-friendly statements, LaVine remains one of the hottest names on the trade market. But here's where it gets interesting. Finding a suitable deal for LaVine isn't as straightforward as you might think. If his trade value was through the roof, he'd already be rocking a different jersey and participating in someone else's training camp. So, what's the holdup? Why isn't LaVine's phone blowing up with trade offers? The challenges. To understand the complexity of LaVine's situation, we need to look at a few key factors that are giving potential suitors pause. Injury concerns. LaVine's coming off a season that was more stop than start. He suited up for just 25 games before undergoing season-ending surgery in February. In a league where availability is as crucial as ability, this is a major red flag for interested teams. The price tag. Here's where things get really eye-watering. We're talking about a contract that would make even the most spend-happy GMs think twice. LaVine is owed a staggering $89 million over the next 2 seasons. But wait, there's more. He also has a $49 million player option for the 2026-27 season. In today's NBA economy, with a new CBA in place that's designed to curb excessive spending, that's a financial commitment that could handcuff a franchise for years. The reputation factor. Fair or not, LaVine has developed a reputation as a stats-first player who doesn't necessarily contribute to winning basketball. In his first decade in the league, he's made just one playoff appearance, which ended in a first-round exit. For teams looking to make a push for contention, this lack of playoff success is a significant concern. The potential turnaround. But don't count Zach LaVine out just yet, folks. There's still a path for him to rebuild his trade value and potentially find a new home. Here's how it could play out. Return to form. The first and most crucial step is for LaVine to get back on the court and remind everyone why he's a two-time All-Star. Before his injury-plagued season, LaVine was putting up numbers that put him in an elite club. We're talking about a 4-year run where he averaged at least 24 points, 4 assists, and 2.5 three-pointers per game. The only other players to match that feat? Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, and Donovan Mitchell. That's some seriously elite company. Showcase opportunity. With DeMar DeRozan now lighting up the scoreboard in Sacramento, LaVine has the perfect stage to remind everyone of his offensive prowess. The Bulls need to showcase his skills to attract potential suitors, and LaVine will have every opportunity to do just that. Expect to see plenty of plays run through him as Chicago looks to increase his trade value. The desperation factor. As the season progresses, we're bound to see some teams getting antsy. The Western Conference is stacked from top to bottom, and the East isn't far behind. As contenders start to face their flaws and the trade deadline looms, LaVine's scoring ability, floor spacing, and playmaking skills might suddenly look a lot more appealing to teams struggling to find offensive consistency. The market dynamics. Let's take a moment to consider the broader NBA landscape. The play-in tournament has widened the postseason field, meaning more teams are staying in the playoff hunt longer. This has led to a scarcity of sellers in the trade market, especially when it comes to high-impact offensive players. As the February 6 trade deadline approaches, this scarcity could work in LaVine's favor. Teams that find themselves on the playoff bubble or those looking to make a push from pretender to contender status might be more willing to take a chance on a player of LaVine's caliber, even with the associated risks. Potential suitors. While it's too early to pinpoint exact teams that might be in the market for LaVine, we can speculate on the types of franchises that could come calling. Fringe playoff teams, organizations teetering on the edge of playoff contention, might see LaVine as the piece that could push them over the top. Contenders with offensive struggles, even established playoff teams that find themselves struggling to score consistently, could view LaVine as a solution to their offensive woes. Teams with expiring contracts, franchises looking to shake things up and willing to take on long-term money in exchange for immediate impact, might be intrigued by LaVine's scoring prowess. The Bulls' perspective. From Chicago's standpoint, they're in a tricky position. They need to balance showcasing LaVine to increase his trade value while also focusing on their own team development. The Bulls front office will be walking a tightrope, trying to find the sweet spot between featuring LaVine enough to attract suitors without compromising their own team goals. The X factor, time. Time is perhaps the most crucial element in this entire equation. As the season progresses and the trade deadline inches closer, the pressure on both the Bulls and potential trade partners will intensify. This is where the desperation factor we mentioned earlier comes into play. Teams that started the season with high hopes but find themselves underperforming might become more willing to take risks. A general manager feeling the heat from ownership or a coach on the hot seat might push for a move that they wouldn't have considered at the start of the season. So, there you have it, basketball fans. The Zach LaVine trade saga is a complex dance of talent, timing, and team needs. While his current trade value might not be at its peak, the combination of LaVine's potential return to form, the scarcity of high-level scorers on the market, and the increasing desperation of teams as the trade deadline approaches could create the perfect storm for a blockbuster deal. Will Zach LaVine be wearing a different jersey by the end of the season? It's too early to say for certain, but one thing's for sure: this is a story that will keep NBA fans and analysts buzzing right up until the trade deadline. Keep your eyes peeled and your notifications turned on, because in the high-stakes game of NBA trades, things can change in the blink of an eye. This has been your in-depth look at the Zach LaVine trade situation. Until next time, keep bouncing.